Let me guess, you're smart, right? You were the kid everyone said would go far. You had potential talent, that shiny brain full of ideas and curiosity, and now you re-scrolling YouTube wondering why someone who can barely spell entrepreneur drives a Tesla while you out here optimizing your morning routine. Yeah, let's talk about that. Because being smart isn't your superpower anymore. It's your handicap. You overthink. You overanalyze. You plan everything like it's a NASA mission, but when it's time to launch, you freeze. You love knowing things, but you hate doing them. You worship information and ignore execution. You're that guy who has 47 tabs open on how to start a business, yet you've never actually started one. You call it research. I call it intellectual procrastination. You're addicted to learning because it feels productive, but it's just disguised avoidance. Smart people love complexity. They build a maze and then complain they're lost in it. You'd rather perfect a plan than risk imperfection in action. Meanwhile, the so-called dumb ones, they start messy, fail fast, and learn faster. While you're still debating which productivity app to use, they're already cashing checks. The truth is, your intelligence made you comfortable. You got praised for thinking, not doing. You're terrified of looking stupid, so you don't try. You're allergic to failure because it might crack that precious identity of the smart one. But listen, success doesn't reward thinkers. It rewards doers who learn by doing. You can't outsmart momentum. You can't think your way into success. You have to stumble your way there. And yeah, it'll hurt. You'll fail, embarrass yourself, maybe even look dumb, but that's the price of progress. Your brain is your greatest weapon, but right now, it's aimed at you. You're using it to build excuses instead of empires. You rationalize your fear with logic, your laziness with perfectionism, and your inaction with strategy. Stop. Life isn't a chess match. It's a street fight. You don't need the perfect move, you just need to swing. Action creates clarity. Motion builds motivation. You don't think your way into confidence. You act your way into it. Every genius idea dies without execution. Every plan rots without risk. The difference between smart and successful isn't IQ, it's tolerance for imperfection. You can keep being the smartest in the room, or you can start being the one who actually moves. So here's the challenge. Stop hiding behind potential. Close the tabs. Stop taking notes. Go make something ugly. Post it, pitch it, build it, fail at it. Because the world doesn't care what you could do, it only rewards what you actually do. You know what's funny? You think your brain is this unstoppable machine, but it's really just a paranoid intern trying to keep you safe from embarrassment. Every time you get a new idea, that little voice whispers, "What if it fails?" And boom, your momentum flatlines. You start second-guessing, Googling best strategy, watching a podcast about how to stay focused. And 3 hours later, you're deep into an Andrew Huberman episode taking notes on dopamine instead of actually earning any. You tell yourself it's preparation, but really it's paralysis in disguise. You love the theory because it gives you the illusion of progress without the pain of failure. You think your intelligence is protecting you, but it's actually babysitting you. You over-optimize every step before taking the first one. You want the perfect setup, the perfect plan, the perfect timing, but spoiler alert, perfection is the most sophisticated form of procrastination. You're waiting for a sign, a feeling, that moment when everything aligns, and guess what? It never does. The universe doesn't reward perfect timing. It rewards reckless consistency. And that's why you keep losing to people who aren't as smart but move like their life depends on it. They don't need certainty, they create it by doing. You're out here thinking, I need a better idea. No, you need momentum. Because once you're in motion, ideas start chasing you instead of the other way around. But here's the twist. You've built an identity around being the smart one. You'd rather be right than rich, perfect than progressing, clever than consistent. You talk like a visionary but live like a spectator. You know how everything works, but you don't work on anything. You've got the theory of success memorized, but zero evidence of it in your life. That's the irony. You've studied the map so long that you forgot to take the journey. And every time someone else wins, you tell yourself, they just got lucky. No, they got dirty. They risked looking stupid, they made things that sucked, and they learned. Meanwhile, you're still drafting the right way to start. Let me tell you something brutal. Intelligence gives you options, but too many options kill decisions. You're drowning in possibilities because you're allergic to commitment. You want to keep your options open, but open doors mean you're standing in the hallway, never entering any room. You don't need more knowledge. You need friction, risk, and deadlines that make you sweat. You need to fail so hard your ego cracks open and something real comes out. You're not tired of working, you're tired of waiting for perfect. And the longer you wait, the more you convince yourself you're not ready. But readiness isn't a state, it's a side effect of starting. You want confidence? You earn it through chaos, not comfort. The people you call lucky built their luck brick by brick in public, while you kept your brilliance locked in private drafts. And deep down, you know it? That's why every night before bed, there's that quiet guilt, the one whispering that you're capable of more. Not in a motivational quote way, but in that stomach-turning, keep-you-awake kind of way. You know you're wasting your potential, and pretending not to care doesn't erase the ache. You scroll through success stories looking for hope, but secretly for excuses. You want proof that someone like you can make it without changing, but no one does. Because knowledge without action is potential energy with no release. It builds pressure until it bursts into regret. And the scariest part? The more you know, the more dangerous your inaction becomes. Because now it's not ignorance, it's choice. You chose to stay where you are. You chose comfort disguised as preparation. Every unstarted project, every postponed plan, it's not time's fault. It's fear dressed up as intelligence. But what if you flipped it? What if you weaponized your brain instead of letting it cage you? What if every overthought scenario became a blueprint for execution instead of anxiety? Because here's the secret no one told you. Discipline beats IQ. Systems beat moods, and momentum beats motivation every single time. You think you need inspiration to act, but action is what creates inspiration. The brain chemistry follows the behavior, not the other way around. That's why successful people seem driven. They're not waiting to feel ready. They're using motion to force readiness. And once you start, your brain catches up. It's like jumping into cold water. It sucks for 3 seconds, then you adapt. The pain fades, the fear fades, and suddenly you're swimming while everyone else is still on the dock arguing about water temperature. You can't outthink that, you can only do it. So the question isn't, are you smart enough? It's, are you willing to be seen trying? Because the moment you stop hiding behind potential and start executing with imperfection, everything changes. The irony is that your brain wants progress. It's wired for dopamine from achievement, not analysis. But you've been feeding it the wrong food content instead of creation, theory instead of trial, validation instead of victory. You're starving your potential with comfort snacks. And until you break that loop, intelligence will keep being your prettiest prison. But let's push further. What if your so-called laziness isn't laziness at all? What if it's fear wearing a lab coat, running experiments in your head so you never have to fail in the real world? What if your procrastination is just perfectionism's ugly twin? You tell yourself, I'll start when I'm ready, but you're confusing readiness with reassurance. You don't need to feel ready, you need to feel cornered. You need stakes, urgency, a deadline that forces evolution. That's when brilliance shows up, not in comfort, but in crisis. Pressure doesn't break you, it exposes you. So maybe it's time to stop protecting your ego and start building your evidence. Because the world doesn't reward what you know, it rewards what you prove. And right now, the only thing you're proving is that intelligence without action is just sophisticated self-sabotage. But there's more to this than mindset. There's biology, psychology, identity. Why do smart people hesitate? Why do the brightest burn out the fastest? Let's break that open, because once you understand the science behind your paralysis, you can finally escape it. So here you are, after everything we've torn apart, every excuse exposed, every illusion shattered. You finally see it, don't you? The truth that intelligence without action is just another form of fear. The world doesn't need more thinkers. It needs more doers with fire in their veins and scars on their hands. You don't need another plan, another book, another podcast. You need motion, messy and raw. You need to build, fall, and rise again until your potential stops being a theory and starts being a testimony. Because the smartest thing you'll ever do is to stop thinking and start living like your life depends on it, because it does. If this message hit you, don't just nod and scroll away. Confess it below. Write what you've been putting off. Tell the world what you're finally going to start. Testify about what this message woke up inside you. Because every word you write isn't just a comment, it's a declaration of war against the old version of you. And if this spoke to your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with 10 people, your friends, your family, your team, your enemies, anyone who's still trapped in their own head. Because when this message spreads, it doesn't just boost a channel, it ignites a movement. Every view, every share, every word you pass on is another mind being freed from its own overthinking prison. This isn't just content, it's a mirror, a challenge, a call to rise. You not sharing a video, you carrying a wake-up call that could rewrite someone's entire story. So let's do this together. Drop your confession, share your struggle, and spread this message like it's your duty, because it is. The moment you hit share, you not just helping me, you helping the world see what is possible when intelligence finally meets action. Now go start, act, move. Because this is your moment to stop being smart and start being unstoppable.